In this video note, we should be taking a look at one of the challenge exercises from Objects First with Java. The exercise uses the house project. As this exercise is described as challenging, this video note assumes that you are comfortable with the fundamental terminology introduced so far, such as class, object, method and parameter, and that you've completed most of the book's exercises up to this point. If you are not yet ready for this video note, then we recommend that you defer watching it until you have had the chance to do some more background reading and to get a bit more practice. We are going to tackle the exercise to make the sun set in the picture of the house. This will involve making some modifications to the source code of the picture class. If you've completed most of the earlier exercises, then you will already have made changes to this class, so we won't go into too much detail here about how to do that. The exercise gives a hint that the circle class has a method called slowMoveVertical that might be used to make the sun set. Looking through the source code of the picture class, it doesn't appear that this method is already being used in drawing the picture. One way to find out how to use it might be to create a circle object on the object bench and look at its list of methods. From this, we can see that the method takes a parameter corresponding to the distance to be moved. Let's try it out by making the circle visible on the picture and then calling the method. It doesn't matter that the new circle is obscuring part of the picture, we're just doing this to get an idea of how to use the method. How far are we going to have to move the sun to get it to set? Let's try some values with the new circle, bearing in mind that it is starting slightly lower already. How about 100 pixels? Not quite far enough. Another 100? Nearly there. With a few more to take account of the higher position of the sun, say 250 in total, we should be close. So now let's have a look at where to make the change in the picture class. We can see a block of code in the draw method that does things to the sun, so let's add it in there. Also, we can see a call to the moveVertical method, which is very similar in nature to the slowMoveVertical method, so we should use that to help us. We'll copy and paste that line and make a copy further down. Then we can edit that copy to be the method that we want. Putting in the parameter value of 250. Now we select compile. However, we get an error message. The editor is suggesting that we might have meant something different, but it's quite difficult to tell the difference between what we typed and what the editor is suggesting. However, after a bit of careful reading, we can see that the lowercase m of move should be an uppercase M. This is one of the picky things that you will have to get used to when programming. The compiler will insist on an exact match whenever you type method names, so you need to take great care when reading them and typing them. The convention used here for method names is called camel case, because the mix of lower and uppercase letters produces camel-like humps in the names. The rule is actually very easy to understand and to adhere to. Method names should always start with a lowercase letter, but the case changes to a single uppercase letter at word boundaries such as move and vertical. Take some time to look at the method names you see being used here to check that the rule is being adhered to. Once we've fixed the error, the class compiles OK and we can try it out. No sun at all now. What did we do wrong? Can you spot the problem from looking at the source code? Notice that the sun is not actually made visible until after it has been moved. Let's switch the order of the two statements around to see if that fixes it. Perfect. That's exactly what we wanted.